the main thing is the bar, the status bar that you're using, because you see it all the time. Take the time to actually get your bar looking good first. Now, if I were to show you a couple of different examples of what bars I have set up, okay, this is actually Waybar. I've implemented a Waybar layout switcher inside of Rafi where I can choose whichever layout that I want to. Right now, I have 5 different layouts I can choose between, so if I wanted a dynamic island style one, I would go with something like this. This one is called Kasumi, this is what it looks like. Then I can change it to something like Polybar, this is what Polybar looks like. And then something like subtle, okay, more island style, but then separated out into different islands. Ultra minimal looks like this. This is for when I actually want the windows to be flush against the bar. If you have a floating bar, of course, it's going to be weird because there's actually margins around the bar and the top at the left and right. Now, it looks weird when you have the windows flush against the bar like this. And so whenever I want the maximum amount of space, I just keep my bar to ultra minimal so that I get the maximum amount of space being taken up by the window as well as the window being flush against the bar. Now, lastly, I have Velvet Line, which is the one that I use by default, and it looks pretty good. Now, as you just saw, just changing the bar itself, just changing the bar alone gives such an increase in, not necessarily an increase, but then it completely changes the aesthetic of the setup entirely. Like, let's say I wanted to change themes too. For example, I wanted to switch to something like the anime theme. This theme or this color scheme, I've actually called it Komorebi. This is a custom one that I've made on my own. It's a fusion of Tokyo Night and Cappuccino. Now, if I wanted to change the thing, change the layout, I could do something like this. As you can see, it kind of just completely evokes a different feeling and a different emotion depending on what bar you're using. Same thing goes for the wallpaper, which is actually the next point that I was going to tell you. But first, let's switch the bar back. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering how to make a setup like this one yourself with custom theme switchers and Waybar layout switchers and everything else without touching anybody else's dot files, without copying and pasting anything else, but writing everything yourself, that way you actually learn and you know how stuff works, you can click the first link in the description right now and check out Hyper Accelerator. As you can see, this is a program with over 10 hours of content where I cover exactly how you can make Hyprland look as beautiful and as slick as this with lots of different features. Like, for example, this theme switching functionality doesn't just apply to any old app. It applies to your terminal. I'll just show you with NeoFetch. This is the code editor, and then let's have also a file manager over here. Now, watch as I switch themes, okay? I can switch it to Everforest, and as you can see, every single thing updates. And not just that, but there's also stuff like wallpaper switchers, so I can switch wallpaper to anything that I want, something like this paved cabin one, and it works. I can change the theme again to something like Rosé Pine, and there you go. It changes for literally every single app, from the browser to the file manager to the code editor to literally everything else you can imagine. There's also stuff that I teach you how to use like terminal file managers like Yazi, and then more customization stuff like night mode. As you can see, night mode, along with game mode, which turns off all animations and whatnot, and more features like notification panels, logout menus, and lock screens. As you can see, okay, here, there you go, lock screens and much, much more. So if you want to learn how to make this sort of stuff yourself, you can click the first link in the description right now and check out Hyper Accelerator. And this theme switchers module is where I covered most of it. It's a 2-hour-long module, as you can see here, which took me just over a week to make, where I covered what theme switchers actually are, the different kinds, how to set up wallpaper-based theme switching, custom theme switching, the works, basically all of it. This is the code part somewhere here. Here we're actually setting up the theme folder and whatnot. And this is the actual code that you're going to be writing in order to figure it all out. So if you want this, you can click the first link in the description right now and check it out. Okay. Now, second thing you're going to want to customize is the wallpaper. It's a backdrop that decides what kind of emotion your setup evokes. See, I've been ricing Hyprland for about 4 years now, and time again, I've seen rices on r/UnixPwn that would just be mid AF if not for the wallpaper. Conversely, even if your setup doesn't quote-unquote look like the next N4 or Soramane dots, a really good wallpaper elevates it from, let's say, if we were using arbitrary numbers, from something like a 5 or a 6 to even an 8 or a 9. Like, just take a look at this wallpaper, for example. It looks pretty freaking plain. The status bar blends in with the wallpaper, and then it just seems like there's a lot of noise, there's no clear subject, and maybe that's just the aesthetic of this wallpaper because it's designed to be minimal and abstract and get out of your way, but there's definitely better you can do when it comes to the wallpaper. So if I change it to something like evening, okay, it looks 10 times better already because there's a subject. This actually seems like a background, okay? And there is contrast between the wallpaper and the status bar, as you can see over here. And if I weren't choosing this wallpaper, but instead choosing something else, I have recolored version of the same wallpaper, the flowers.jpg one, that also works well. Pool one also works well. This is also recolored version. Basically, any wallpaper works, but you have to actually make sure that there is contrast between the elements that you're seeing on screen and the backdrop, and you're actually able to tell that it's a backdrop and not just, something that's been plastered onto your screen. And let's see, even this clouds one works very well because this too, it has the same kind of aesthetic as dots in the sense that it's minimal and abstract and whatnot, and it looks pretty good, but it looks even better because of the fact that there's actually contrast between the status bar and the, well, the backdrop, which is what you're trying to evoke. If both of those end up blending together and basically what you have at the end of it is just a mess. Yes, that would be the best way to describe when there's a lack of contrast between your bar and your wallpaper. So make sure to pick the right wallpapers. If you want help with recoloring wallpapers, I've made a video on it before. It's basically using an app called LutGen Studio. LutGen Studio is honestly a very fantastic app that you can use in order to recolor wallpapers. Like this one, the Grovebox material one, if I just switch to that theme over here and just show you a quick preview of what the wallpaper originally was looking like. Yeah, this is PPL X Horizon, right? This is what it used to look like before. This is the original wallpaper, and to an extent, it works with the Grovebox material theme, but then you can make it look 10 times better by actually recoloring it, which is what I've done over here. This is the recolored version, as I have made it myself using LutGen Studio. As you can see, you just search the palette in here. You call it, this one's Grovebox material, so I just picked one from here. Just pick any one. Okay, I went with the light version, and you choose the hold clut level, luminosity factors. You can go to the wiki and find out what exactly all of these mean, the wiki of the app itself, LutGen Studio. But otherwise, you can just mess around with the sliders and figure out what kind of changes they make to the image itself. Once you're done, you just save, and then there's your recolored wallpaper. Okay, next thing is going to be your terminal. You're going to be using this thing pretty much all the time. Main customizations you're going to be doing here are the prompt and the colors. The fonts too are something that you're going to be changing and something that you'll have to take into consideration. Now, as for fonts, you can pick the popular ones like JetBrains Mono, which is what I currently have over here, but if I were to show you a couple of other options, you can also choose other fonts like Kitty or Geist Mono Nerd Font, or even Inconsolata, or basically any nerd font that you can pick. Now, this actually depends on what kind of aesthetic that you're going for. I'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, just pick whichever font that you feel looks pretty nice, renders pretty well on your terminal at your resolution and font size, and allows you to see stuff without having to stress your eyes out. Yeah, as for fonts, like the specific font names, you can go for the popular ones like Hack and Fear Code and whatnot, or you can go for more niche ones that I've already mentioned, like Maple Mono. Maple Mono I hadn't mentioned before, but yeah, that and Geist Mono. Now, my advice would be for you to pick the fonts that match the aesthetic that you're going for, that you also actually genuinely like. This would be uniting the heart and the mind, as I like to call it, in the sense that you're satisfying your heart by picking a font that you actually like looking at, and the mind by also picking one that matches the aesthetic that you're going for. Like, let's say you wanted to make a cyberpunk aesthetic, okay? Now, the one that I have on my system that looks most like cyberpunk is going to be Horizon. Okay, right now I don't have the cyberpunk wallpaper, but let's just pretend that this wallpaper is cyberpunk, okay? This one, this anime one. Now, what I do here is, because everything is sharp and angular and whatnot, I would go for a sharp and angular terminal fonts as well. Now, JetBrains Mono is not going to cut it whatsoever because it's too round and playful, but something like SF Mono works fantastically, as you can see here. Hold on, we're going to have to Control Shift F5. There you go. This is what SF Mono looks like. Looks pretty freaking good. If not SF Mono, you can pick something like Roboto Mono if you have not figured out a way to get that font just yet. Roboto Mono works pretty well. Now, if I know, okay, this isn't actually Roboto Mono, it's a different font, but anyway, yeah, this one works very well. And then you can also pick another one like Geist Mono Nerd Font Mono. This one also works very well in the sense that it's sharp and works good for a cyberpunk aesthetic. So basically, keep the aesthetic that you're going for in mind and then choose a font that works with that. Like, let's say I was going for the anime aesthetic, okay? The anime wallpaper kind of this thing. Although there are no anime wallpapers here. The one that I have, okay, this one works pretty well. Let's just go with this girl, okay? Now, let's say I have this one. It looks pretty good. Now, the font that would go most well with this would be something like Maple Mono. Maple Mono, I'm pretty sure it's a nerd font. Maple Mono NF. NF, no. That is not Maple Mono. Let's see the actual font name. Okay, let's move this here. Let's look for Maple Mono. Yeah, it's called Maple Mono NFCN. So let's just type that in. NFCN, CN. Now if I reload, yeah, this is what it looks like, and it looks pretty sweet, especially when you take into consideration the wallpaper that's currently been chosen and the entire aesthetic of the theme itself. So do that, keep that in mind, and then you're going to be able to take your setup to the next level. As I've already mentioned, I've been writing for quite some time now, and whenever I see setups that actually look like they have some thought put into it, it's always when the creator pays attention to little details. When you start paying attention to little details like that's when your setup is actually taken to the next level. Like, too many times I've seen beginners and hell, even intermediates not pay attention to these little details, and that's exactly why they end up being stuck exactly where they are, not being able to advance further. And not just that, but then they also don't have the skills to be able to make sure that they're able to advance, in the sense that they know that they want something more advanced out of their setup when it comes to theming and aesthetics and whatnot, but then they have no idea how to make it themselves, mostly because they just find it too complicating or just are intimidated by it, which is why I made the program Hyper Accelerator. That is exactly what the program deals with, and I covered how you can actually make this sort of setups step by step so that you don't have to dig online for tutorials instead of actually doing the writing. That, and of course, not copying and pasting dot files, which was something that I used to do a lot back in the day. So if I'm able to help you get over that freaking disease, then I would gladly like to do that. And if you want to check out the program, you can click the first link in the description right now and go for it. Now, fourth is going to be your GTK theme, okay? Your browser relies on it, your file manager too, most likely, and literally any file picker that you see when you click on or open inside of any app. Like, let's say you are inside of an app like GIMP and then you want to open a file or a folder, like that file picker menu, that is also going to be a GTK thing, most likely. GTK or Qt, depending on what your setup uses. Let's just go back. Yeah, and when you theme that as well, it ends up looking really good. But when you don't, it ends up looking ugly because most likely by default, it's going to be in light theme. And so you're going to want to theme that as well. It has the potential to be a site for sore eyes, so don't be lazy with this one. Fifth thing would be animations and decorations. Now, if I show you mine, let's reset the font first. Okay, now I'll do this. Okay, now I'll show you my animations. Hyper modules animations.conf. Okay, this one is anime.conf, so let's go in there. Animations anime.conf. Yeah, in here I have completely customized my animations to look something like this. Okay, there are no default Bezier curves. All of them are pretty much custom. Smooth out, from smooth out till ease in out expo, all of them are mine own. And that is what makes the animations look freaking buttery smooth, as you can see over here. From everything to opening windows to switching between the different windows like this, closing windows, everything has been designed by myself. Not just that, but then also the decoration settings as well. If I were to show you that, decoration.conf, inside here, we're importing rounded. Oh, and decorations are also something I can change using the switcher, by the way. Change the decorations from rounded to sharp. This is what that would look like. I can go back to rounded, and yeah, this too I covered inside of the program, by the way. Module, hold on, decorations, here your rounded.conf. And in here, the border size right now is 1, active border is BG2. Now this BG2 corresponds to the current theme, so if I were to switch to something like Everforest, the color of BG2 is going to change, which is, of course, natural. If I go to Dropbox material, it'll be the same as it was. Inactive border is BG1. I'm pretty sure that's this color, the color that you see before I hover on it and before it turns purple. Allow tearing is true. This is basically a setting that disables VSync so that the compositor can actually display way more frames than just 144, which is what my monitor refreshes at. Decoration in here, my rounding is 25, rounding power is 10. Now, as you increase the rounding power, in my case, I found that it becomes more like a squared, like a rounded rectangle, as you can see here. If you want to turn it more into a circle, you just keep it like 3, and it becomes way more circly, as you can see here. If you make it into 1, it's just sharp edges. 2 becomes like a little bit more circle. 3 is a proper circle. Then you go to 4, that's something like this. You can also go to 9 and look something like this. And 10 is what I personally keep it at. Next thing is active and inactive opacity. I keep that at 1 and 0.92 because I and comment it out because I don't like using that. But anyway, if you want to reduce inactive opacity and have blur appear on the windows that you have open as well, that are not specifically configured to have blur, you can do that as well. Shadow, this one range is 25. I can increase the range if I want to get a thicker shadow. 25 works pretty fine. Even 28 works well. Render power, so the greater the number, the faster the fall off basically. So if I wanted the biggest shadow, as you can see, that's something like 2. Otherwise, you can set it to 3. And the color of the shadow here too, I can change it to something like, I can change it to BG3, and that would look way more different, as you can see here. BG0 seems like that's better off, honestly. Then sometimes it's a bit too dark, and then for some things, for some colors, it's a bit too light, and so I've just kept it this way. The blur is enabled, size 10, size of the blur kernel. That's going to be 10. You increase it, of course. Blurring is increased. Number of passes, how many times the window is going to be blurred. Increase the number of passes, window becomes more and more acrylic looking. Reduce the number of passes, and blur is basically going to just be barely visible. And honestly, this has its own kind of aesthetic to it. It's like, if you have a really good wallpaper, it has nothing better than just having blur that looks like this. It's meant to be integers, by the way, so don't mess that up. Noise is 0.01. This is how much noise the blur has. If you want the blur to be more paper-like, you can reduce the number of noise. No, you can actually increase it. Increase it, and that's even more noisy. Yeah, that is definitely a lot more noise. Let's reduce that. Contrast is 0.8. You can increase that to something like 1, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that increases the contrast between dark and light colors. Let's go back to something like 0.9. That also works. Vibrancy is 0.2. This is basically the saturation of colors. As you can see, the colors become way more saturated when you increase the vibrancy. The vibrancy basically refers to the saturation of dark colors, if I'm not wrong. No, the normal colors. Vibrancy darkness is what refers to that. And of course, there's lots more settings that you can customize inside of the wiki that you can just copy over and check out what they do for yourself. So I will be leaving that to you. And that's pretty much it. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. Yeah. And there are a couple of other things that you would benefit from theming, like changing font rendering settings and settings inside of specific apps themselves, like VS Code. As you can see, I've made VS Code look pretty freaking minimal. If I just get rid of the status bar, and then the scroll, the mini map, and also the tab bar. Hold on, show hide editor tabs. Yeah, this doesn't even look like VS Code anymore. It just looks that freaking clean. Especially even if you have this Explorer window open. Yeah, it looks like a completely different editor, and it looks really good. Even if I have just a single tab bar showing, like this is a tip, by the way. Let's see, show single editor tab without the crossmark. Like this still looks pretty freaking clean, as you can see over here. Perfect for code showcase screenshots. It works very well. Discord, my Discord looks a little something like this. This too, I teach you how to theme inside of the program, by the way. The VS Code as well as Discord and literally everything else. So yeah, this is Discord. This also works with the theme switcher, by the way. Let's go to Cappuccino. There you go. Discord updates immediately as well. And then last thing would be Spotify. Now Spotify, I'm pretty sure it's already open, so I'll just let that be. But yeah, and also, if you want help with getting your setup to the next level, just like I've already shown you, okay, without copying .files, just changing 3 lines and watching everything fall apart, you can click the first link in the description and check out the program. I designed it specifically with where you're at in your icing journey right now, so that you don't have to suffer like I did when I was just starting out. So far, 376 people have gone through it as I make this video right now, and basically all of them love it, and I can't wait for you to join them too. So click the first link right now and check it out. If you liked the video, hit like. If you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay rising.